We're back with today's consumer and how to get good customer service.
And believe it or not, it does exist, but where?
We called in the experts. Janice Lieberman is a consumer correspondent with Reader's Digest, and Elaine Swann is an etiquette expert. Ladies.
Yes.
Whole lot of complaining going on, isn't
absolutely.
there? It's hard enough to do it in person, but it seems to me the toughest place is over the phone.
Yes.
When you just feel like you're invisible to people. What can we do, Janice?
It is so frustrating out there, especially when they say it's a 5-minute wait. Now, I'm not saying this works, but a friend told me over lunch that if you have the option of pressing Spanish, press that, because they all speak English anyway, and they're more available.
Oh, and then when you get that person on the phone, I say use your radio voice. That means be real smooth and charming to kind of woo the person into getting what you want. Don't start complaining about how long it took to hang on the phone and what button you had to push.
So don't be nasty right off.
No, if you're nasty right off, they'll cut you off.
What do you do? You're in a restaurant, they bring the food, it's not right, the service is not good. You don't want to be a jerk, but you want to get what you want. You don't want them spitting on your food when they bring it back. So what's the proper way? I get my duck, it's not right, what do I say?
Be discreet. Be discreet when you're telling the person what you don't like about it, and if they can't help you, then
what
talk
do you mean
to a
discreet?
manager.
How about, hey, this is not the way I ordered it, can you please?
But you don't want to make a big deal of it. You know, sometimes we
don't
tend to
eat
make
half
a
of it.
scene.
And
And I think you need to be reasonable. Are you asking for a new entree? Are you asking for a refund? Do you want free dessert? You really need to state your case and not just scream like a crazy person.
Exactly.
Most people are not going to do that, though, are they? They're just going to quietly complain and then never come back to the restaurant.
It doesn't help anybody.
Okay. What about hair salons? A lot of people, the worst thing is when somebody's doing something to you,
I hate that.
and you're going, you want to say, that's not what I want. What do you do?
Say it! But say it nicely. And again, the thing about etiquette is just making sure that you put the other person at ease, so you don't want to embarrass somebody at all. You just want to let them know, I'm not really happy with this. Is there something different we can do?
And maybe communicate a little better right beforehand and say, this is what I really want. Please don't do anything differently.
And I think, again, you have to say, do you want a free haircut? Do you want a correction from a different operator? And I spoke to Jim in hair downstairs. He's a hairdresser. He says, you have 3 days to complain about your color. No longer. You can't wait till the gray comes back and say it wasn't a good job.
And make sure you say something before you leave the store. Don't pay them, give them a tip, and then walk out the door and then complain later.
Guys, in this new world, in this recession world, are consumers more feeling entitled to be jerks, in effect? That, I want it now, and is there kind of a different ethos between seller and sellee?
I think what's happening is because of the economy today, consumers are starting to feel their power, but you can't abuse that power.
No,
you still have to treat people with decency and respect, and so that's important.
What about not leaving a tip if you feel like you haven't had the kind of service you want?
You don't have to. And I asked Jim also about the hair. He said, no, don't tip. But tell the manager why you're not tipping so they're not thinking you're a jerk and that you're running out your cheese.
I'm a softie. I still do. I just
can't
do it because I go there waiting for a living.
In a restaurant, the thing about it, we have to think about the servers in a restaurant. They're working for their tips. They're not making an hourly wage. So you definitely want the tip to reflect the service.
And they often share the tip thing too. So you might be hurting a person that's doing a good job at the next table, right?
Exactly.
Thank you, ladies. Always great. We could talk about these things forever and ever.